welcome to Flan Cooks Asian, and today we're going to Korea and making kimchi. This is at a noodle bar in the Seoul, Korea airport on my way to Thailand, and just enjoying an amazing bowl of beef noodle soup, but also they had the most incredible, amazing tasting kimchi I've ever had. So if you're ever at the Seoul, Korea airport, definitely stop by the noodle bar and restaurant. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Today we're making kimchi, so let's get started. First off, we got a Napa cabbage here. I'm actually using two. I already cut up one and got it all washed, so you wouldn't have to sit through the whole thing. Not that you're gonna sit through it, because that's what editing is for. So, anyway, if you've never used Napa cabbage, it's a Chinese cabbage. It's absolutely amazing, delicious. First thing you want to do is cut this guy in half. And then you just want to cut your core out. Watch your fingers so they don't get chopped off. You just want to take the core out, not some fingers. Take your core out, throw that guy out. I'm going to flip these over, and then we're going to half the halves and cut them into about inch long, inch and a half wedges. And then we're going to take that, put it in our bowl here. So we're going to cut up our next one here. I'm going to put that in our bowl, and we are going to turn the water on because you want to, wow, that was awesome. So you just want to make sure that if there is any dirt in there, that you get it all rinsed out. So we're going to take that, put it into a colander, and then we're just going to dump it in this bowl, which I already have one head of cabbage chopped up in. So we have our cabbage rinsed off, and you don't have to make sure it's really dry. You want some of that water on there because we're about to add a bunch of salt to this, and you want it to adhere to the cabbage so it pulls all that moisture out of the cabbage. So it doesn't have to be completely dry. Now we're going to take this and put it into this other gigantic bowl that I have, and we're going to add, I have a cup of salt here, a cup of kosher salt, and they may sound a lot, like a lot, but it's going to be rinsed off. So it's really not too much. So you're just placing from one bowl into the other, and with each layer, just sprinkle some salt on top of it. We've salted all of our cabbage, and I just split it in half between the two bowls. We're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes-ish, and then we're gonna mix it up. And the time that it takes before it's ready to mix with everything else will probably be maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. So every 30 minutes, we're just gonna mix that salt up with that. So now what we're gonna make is our paste, which is what gets mixed into the kimchi that holds your cherry pepper or your chili flakes and all that in it. So I have a cup of water here, and I have 2 tablespoons of rice flour, and you want to make sure this is nice and whisked into the water because you don't want any clumps to form at all. We're just about at the boil. It's thickened up nice, and it's almost like a gluey type paste. And you want to stir it constantly through this because you don't want any of the clumps to form in there. So it's starting to bubble up a little bit. And so what we're going to do, now that it's come up to a little bit of a boil, the bubbles are coming through, we're going to take it off of the heat. And I have a 1/4 cup of sugar, just regular old white granulated sugar. And we're going to mix that into it. Stir that around a little bit until your sugar dissolves. And then we are going to take this and put it into another bowl because we want that to cool down, come to room temperature. You don't want to add anything into this while it's still hot, otherwise it'll form clumps, or has the potential to form clumps, and you definitely don't want that. So we're going to take that. As you can see, it's a nice smooth paste. And we're gonna just take that, we're gonna put it in the fridge while all this happens. Actually, you don't even have to put it in the fridge. By the time your cabbage is ready and everything, this will probably be room temperature already. So you can either put it in the fridge or not, up to you. What we have here is a quarter onion, about a quarter of an onion, medium-sized onion, about a thumb-sized piece of ginger that's been peeled, and 3 cloves of garlic. And this I just put into the food processor and blitzed it really quick so it gave it a rough chop. Also 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, squid brand fish sauce, the brand that I choose. And those are just put into the food processor. You don't need it to be smooth or watery or anything like that. It can be chunky. It's just texture that you're adding and flavors that you're adding to the kimchi. So it doesn't have to be really, really smooth. Like 3 or 4 seconds in a food processor, and you've got it. That's it. So that's what this is. Now it's been a half an hour, and we are going to mix up our cabbage just to make sure that all that salt is getting around. Oh, if you can see, which I'm sure you can, there's quite a bit of water on the bottom from all the salt that has been pulling out all that water. The salt pulling out all that water from the cabbage. So we're just going to mix all that up. Make sure all that salt gets on all of this, and actually we're going to combine the bowls now that it's shrunk down so much it will all fit in one, and we're going to need this big bowl anyway again, so I can wash that so I can use it. So we're going to set our timer for another 30 minutes, and as you can see, like before this went into this little concoction here, these big ribs of the cabbage would just kind of snap right in half, but now they're getting pretty pliable, so you can bend them quite a bit before they snap. And you want them to get just a little bit more than that. You don't want them to be so bendy that they'll bend all the way down without cracking or breaking in half, but you want them just a little bit more than this. So we'll do 30 minutes, and I will come back when the finished product is ready, at least for the cabbage, and then we'll finish putting the kimchi together. Okay, so it's been roughly an hour and a half that our cabbage has been soaking in our little water salt mixture here, and they still snap, but they're very pliable. That's what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to take this, and we're gonna flip our other bowl over here. We need to rinse that salt mixture off so it's not too salty, because right now it's extremely salty from all the salt we put on it, obviously. So you take that, gotta rinse it off, and you don't have to get this completely dry or dried off. Just kind of shake off the excess water and put it in your bowl. Now we have our paste with the sugar, rice flour, and water that we made earlier that's cooled down. We have our garlic, ginger, fish sauce, and onion mixture. And we're gonna put that right into our paste and mix it up. Like so. And then we have our pepper flakes. And this is a half cup of crushed red pepper powder, pepper flakes. And we are going to set that aside for a second. Now we have all the other little things that we add to our cabbage. So we have our cabbage, and then we have about 2 cups of carrot that's just kind of cut into little matchsticks. Again, however big you want to cut them, they don't have to be a certain size. Whatever you, excuse me, oh my gosh, whatever you feel like putting in there. So we have a half cup of carrot, or 2 cups of carrot, I'm sorry. 2 cups of Korean radish, and you can use whatever type of radish you want. Again, daikon, white radish, red radishes if you want to. This is just what I prefer. And then we have 2 cups of shimjie, I believe it's called, shimji mushrooms. They're an East Asian mushroom. I usually use oyster mushrooms, but they didn't have them at the Asian market when I went, so we're using this. And we also have seaweed. Now, glove up, because you do not want to get this little paste mixture that has the chili flakes, peppers, powder, chilies in it. You don't want to get that on your hands if you do use a lot, or not even a lot, but it can stain your skin. And also, if you have scratches or cuts or something on your hands, you'll definitely find out where they are by using if you put your bare hands into that. Kind of like getting lemon juice on a cut. It'll burn, and you don't want that. So we're gonna take this and mix it up, just so it's all evenly spread out through our bowl here. And then we are going to take, I love kimchi. Then we're going to take our paste and we're going to put that right into our bowl. Yum. Gloves on. You're just going to go in and mix your paste in with all of that and make sure it gets spread throughout. For this to be ready, at least the way that I like it, usually takes about 6 days. You could eat this right now. It wouldn't have, there'd be no sourness to it. Over the fermentation process that takes place, you get a nice sour quality in there. I mean, which you probably know, I'm sure, from eating kimchi. If you wanted to use this right now for like a stir fry or something like that, you probably could, and it wouldn't be that bad. But for that actual amazing kimchi flavor, you want to let it sit. So this is all mixed together and your kimchi is basically done. So all you have to do now is take whatever you're putting it in. I love these jars, they're amazing. And if you're using a jar like this, you don't want to fill it all the way up, maybe three quarters of the way. And take your time, there's no need to rush this. It's a love process. It's a little Buddha type thing. I mean, it takes so long to do that it's a nice Zen moment for me to make kimchi. Like I said, over the next few days, every day you want to take your top off and you want to just kind of mix it around and push down on it again. So the juice and the liquid that's in there rises and it goes over the top of your vegetables. You put your top on, not completely, but just so it's kind of soft on there. And there you have it, kimchi. And I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Thank you for stopping by Phelan Cooks Asian. I'm Michael. Stop by my IG, Phelan Cooks Asian also. You're already at my YouTube. And stop by my regular IG, Michael22Monkey. I have cooking stuff on there also. And I have some travel stuff from when I went to Thailand and everything on there too. Check it out, subscribe, like, all those things that everybody wants you to do. So do I. And hopefully I'll see you around soon. Thanks. Bye-bye. And another thing that I forgot, after you have all your jars filled, you want to keep it in a nice, cool, dry place. You don't want to put it in the refrigerator, because once you put it in the refrigerator, that's going to stop the fermentation process because it's so cold. So you want to just keep it kind of on the counter somewhere that's out of the way, or maybe in another room on a shelf or something. Also, you're going to probably around day 3-ish, when you walk into your room and you walk into your house, when you walk into your apartment, it may start to smell like garbage. That's just part of the fermentation process. It smells bad, but that goes away. And the taste is what is important. But that smell does go away, I promise. So make sure that you just kind of put it in somewhere that's out of the way, quiet, a darker type place. It doesn't have to be pitch black or anything like that, but just some place that's out of the way, not too hot, not too cold. And I swear this is the last part of this video. Thanks. Bye.